This conference will now be recorded.
Our official will call the meeting to order. Do the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so our first section, as usual, is public comment. Barb?
Yeah, my name is Barb Bonsek, Boncek, and I live up on Winey Wood. And a couple weeks ago, I think it was around June 15th or something, for the 5th time, I had to press charges against some neighbors because their dogs attacked me and my dog again. And I know that the mayor knows about this. You know, the police know about it. Dog control knows about it. This has been going on for years. And I mean, I'm just at my wit's end. They're holding our whole neighborhood hostage because they let their 5, 6, 7 dogs run around all the time, and they do come after you. So I don't know what to do. And I know, I have talked to you, Mayor, a couple times ago when it happened to me. And I'm just sick of it. I mean, people do get bit, but everybody's afraid of these people. And they also know that over and over and over again, they just do what they want anyway. I mean, the dogs were running Friday. They were running today. What's that? If anybody's talking, I can't actually understand it.
No, I was saying that maybe you find out if there's any kind of charges that can be made after a certain amount of warning. I don't know, maybe Lee can elaborate on.
I know what the code says,
Oh, what is that?
and it says that dogs cannot be at large, and that there's a potential 15 days in jail, $250 fine.
There we go. So it's written.
But how we go about it.
Well, I've done it 5 times. I've actually pressed charges 5 times, and the last time was just on June 15th, and all they get is a $25 fine.
There's
a big difference between dogs running at large. This is Nate, Rusty.
Yep.
Between dogs running at large and dangerous dogs. If the dogs have bitten people or attacked people, then it's up ultimately to the dog control officer to take the witness statements, such as what Barb is saying, and file paperwork with the court. Now,
he's told me that it's kind of out of his jurisdiction because he's town and this is village. Although he has helped and he has gone there. And I know one time, he went there, the dogs didn't have licenses or something. But he says he really can't do anything about it. He says, just keep calling the police. They'll get sick of it. Well, I don't think that I should have to keep calling the police. And I don't really think this should take up this much of their time. As a matter of fact, the last officer that showed up here this time, he pulled in my driveway and I said, I just had some dogs attack me and my other dog. And he rolled his eyes and goes, yeah, I know where. I mean, everybody knows. Everybody knows, and this has been years. I mean, and I think it was in the summer or the fall. I know it's not an official Facebook, but it's called the Village Facebook. A young man said he was walking by, and he said, I'm disabled. I'm a young man, and I'm disabled. And the dogs attacked him, and he fell down. And there must have been 100 comments about people up here in the Hallstead estate that have been impacted by these dogs. And I don't know. I mean, it has to be a village problem. It can't just be like it is. And I don't know what more to do. And Nate, the dog control officer does know. And by the way, these people, the last time they threatened, not the last time, there was a time before this that another officer came, and he was really good about it and stuff, but he felt talking to them would solve the problem, although I knew it wouldn't. But they threatened me that time. They said, I know where you live. And then the time before that, they played the race card on me because I said, this was the time when I was walking 2 huge dogs and 5 dogs came out after us, one being a pit bull. And I was screaming and I said, why can't you guys just keep your dogs in your yard like everybody else? And they said I was being racist against them. So, I mean, I'm really getting sick of it. Then they say, I know where you live. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. And I need some help. I normally get in my car and drive to Hickory's. For 3 years, I did not walk my dogs around this neighborhood. The first time I did it, they came after my dog and I. And I have a therapy dog that goes to schools and everything. And if she gets in a fight and something happens, we're out of the program. And I go back to Hickory's now.
I guess if I got to get contact with Jeff, find out what we can do with involving the code enforcement.
No, he's not going to do it.
Not gonna, it's not.
Mr. Mayor.
Let's do it.
Once again, there seems to be, there's many little pieces here. I'm going to talk about a particular piece this moment. I believe that the town dog control officer is not telling this correctly. He is in charge of the dog problems in the village of Owego. So I believe he does have responsibility, but we will, I will, if you want me to do it, I'll get a hold of him or Don Castellucci and make sure of that. I would also be willing to get a hold of the police, talk with the police chief about this and look at the code again, look at the law and see who has what authority, what responsibility, and try to do something about this. So I'm willing to do that.
Thank you. I mean, I would appreciate it. Like I said, it's gone on for years now.
Someone seriously gets
Okay. There are things that can be done about this. You can make a more formal complaint with the police department about threats and attacks. I know that's not something you want to do with your neighbors, but that's something you can do. That moves it along in the process. I'll see what can be done.
Videotape. It seems to work in this world today.
What was that?
Media.
Well, you know, and that's what the police officers have said to me before. You know, you need to get a video of this. Well, I'm walking up until about a month ago when my other dog died. I'm walking 250 pounds of dog and one on each hand. And they're very good. You guys have seen me around town, I'm sure. I walk around with Malamutes. And never had a problem with my own dogs. And they say, take a video. How the heck am I going to take a video when there's 3 or 5 dogs coming at me in those split seconds? And by the way, my dog, now they have smaller dogs, and my dog will likely kill them one of these days. In 1 second, she'll just grab them. She weighs 100 pounds. She'll just grab them and that'll be it. Not because, and my dogs have never had an incident, ever, ever, ever. So I do understand the whole video thing, but it can't happen in the seconds it happens. Because when the people hear you screaming and stuff, they come out. You know, that's just the reality. You know, I do understand, and I wish I could.
One of the things that, because it's evidence of stuff, one of the things you could consider doing is be walking around your development and be without your dogs and be prepared to have these, because they're not just going to be there every time that your dogs are there, and be prepared. And I know it's risky, and be prepared to film them.
We don't want to.
You know, you're right. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right, because people that do walk by also get chased, and they say the dogs nip at their heels, or like the young man that was walking, he didn't have a dog. Yeah, they do go after people. You're right. I could do that. I don't want to, but you're right. I didn't really think about that.
It's just stuff.
But I mean, you know, you can go back to the record. You can see that I've pressed charges. You can go back to the Facebook post and just see some of the things people wrote about that particular one. I know other people have called to complain. I don't know if it was, I think a couple to the mayor's office. I know people have called dog control, but I think we're all just kind of getting frustrated too. So, I mean, I appreciate that you guys are going to look into it a little bit more.
I don't. Barb, you got a phone number?
Sure.
You have a telephone?
Yes, I do. Believe it or not, I do have that. Yeah, it's 972-3653.
Okay.
And the houses, I believe that they're related families, but they live on the corner of Halsted and Ruth, one on each side. But I think they're related, and all their dogs are always together and stuff anyway.
So that's generally what that's generally what
Yes. Yes. Yeah. As a matter of fact, one day I was coming home and a dog ran out in front of me, and there was a guy standing up on the corner, and he was one of my neighbors, and I said, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "Well, I had to just call the police because he's a runner or a walker or a runner, I can't remember, and the dogs had come after him, and he was just waiting there." So, yeah, it happens to a lot of people.
But just for my information, do those dogs, when they run loose, do they get up into the whining part also?
No, down by the corner of Apple Blossom and Ruth, but I've never actually seen them up here.
Just asking.
Yeah, no, fair enough. That's fair. No. Also, I think that there's an ordinance that says that you can only have 4 dogs per household in the village. I know it's in the town because I had more than 4 dogs when I lived in the town, and I got a variance. So that might be another thing to look at.
That's not in the village.
Oh, it's not?
And the reason I'm saying this stuff is just for whatever reason, because of some animals and stuff in the last few weeks, I took a good look at stuff. So that's why I'm fresh on this.
Okay. That was it. I was just looking for a little help, and that's why I'm here.
All right. Well, thank you. Okay, we got Rusty on the job.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to leave, and I do appreciate any help we can get.
Okay, thank you. All right, public comment. Jim, you want to do your thing?
Mike, were you talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay, my volume is down a little bit, but I apologize. Absolutely. So, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate it, board members. Thanks for giving me a chance to speak here. My name is Tim Schmidt. I'm the president of the Owego Appalachian Football Club. It's the local youth football and cheer organization for Appalachian and Owego. I reached out to the mayor about, I don't know, it might have been a month ago, regarding an upcoming fundraiser. And we normally do a golf tournament every year as our main fundraiser. We decided to move away from that and figure out something a little more family friendly. So the idea within our board of directors is to have a chicken barbecue, have Jim Boland cook for us, and we'd be requesting use of Marvin Park. This would be on Saturday, July 24th. We would use, potentially if approved, there's a pavilion on the northwest corner. It's white. I think Mr. Mayor, you said it has OPD or funded or something on it there. It's got the open sides on it. Yeah. We request the use of that pavilion and the parking area or whatever just south of there. I think there's a water hook up there. We'd request use of the water, use of the electricity if possible. And we would have to be there fairly early in the morning. It'd have to be around 5 a.m. per Jim Bowen to get things rolling. And our fundraiser would start around 11 a.m. We would have youth football families there to get some chicken and to have the kids throw a football around, have the cheer families there. We would have like a drive-through service. People that didn't want to hang out, they would kind of utilize the road that surrounds Marvin Park to just drive through, pick up a chicken and be on their way. Or if they wanted to stay for a little while, we can provide some tables and chairs to accommodate that with that pavilion. We would take care of any and all garbage, make sure the place is spick and span. And I can assure you there'd be no problems there. So that was, unless I missed anything, Mr. Mayor, pretty sure that was about it. We would probably be there operating 5 a.m. until, when things clear up with chicken, I would say 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, just in that one section of Marvin Park. Our league is insured. We do subscribe to insurance. It's just the name is Entertainment Sports Promotion. I've been in touch with our insurance agent. I verified that our fundraisers are covered through that entity's insurance. The board members and youth members that would be there in case there was an incident. So the insurance side would be covered. If there happened to be somebody that got hurt while cooking a chicken or twisted an ankle or something of that nature, we hope that doesn't happen. But, so that would be, it would be Saturday, July 24th, about 5 a.m. to 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wasn't that just a matter of reserving?
Isn't there like a permit involved in that?
Yeah, so I let Meg at DPW already know about the date. It was okay.
Tim?
Yes, sir.
Is that John or Jim Boland that's going to do this?
It'd be Jim Boland.
Jim, okay. And is he going to bring in the cooker on wheels that he's going to cook it in? Not going to build a pit or anything?
Correct. Yep. It's a mobile unit that would be wheeled into that area. I think the fire department during the fair has their setup right in that same area. At least they have in the past. But yeah, it would be mobile and completely cleared up afterwards.
I'm trying to picture which pavilion we're talking
Is that
about.
the one on the side where 4-H's?
If I was tech savvy, I could have shared a screen or something, but I'm not. I can get it up on a map and kind of show you if I'm big enough in your guys' area.
Is the football club, are they requesting a variance in the fee? I think it's like a $250 fee for the use of the park or something. And are you requesting that we give you a variance for the fundraiser?
Well, it could be like a sponsorship if we really wanted to work that out. No, I mean, I was unaware of a fee, but absolutely we can, whatever the board or the governing entity here wants to do, we can get that figured out for sure. Oops. We can put you on a banner for the season.
Tim, another question. How about just making sure about all these details?
Sure.
What's the story with the health department? Do you have to get any permission from them for any of this stuff?
So my understanding is we would just follow the protocols that have been in place with masks, obviously with serving food. I do need to make further contact with the department, just verify if there's any additional restrictions or requirements.
Sure.
So that is a conversation that still needs to be had, but workers would obviously have to wear masks, gloves, and follow the rules that we've been following all up along here.
Yeah, just making sure that anything the health department requires it.
Absolutely.
Tim, Pat Gavin's here. They do a lot of chicken barbecue. He said he did.
I can barely hear, I'm sorry.
So,
We're under the impression you need a temporary food permit from the health department. Pat, you know how much those cost?
They waive the fee for non-profit.
Did you hear that, Tim?
I did hear that, yes.
That you need that from them and that they will generally waive the fee for nonprofits.
The application.
Okay.
I can't speak for the village board. I would assume that if we were to agree to this, we would probably waive any fee. I can't speak for the board, but that would be my guess, is that we would waive a fee. If there is 1 or 2 or 20, we would probably waive ours.
Well, I appreciate that and the consideration. If not, that's okay. We can absolutely get things worked out. We would just appreciate your consideration. In the event that the board, obviously a lot to consider. If it doesn't happen, we do have a backup plan, but I just wanted to keep it local and explore this option first.
I think the only decision would be if we wanted to allow them to use the park that day and we want to.
And you say somebody's already checked with Meg to see if somebody else is using the park that day.
Yeah, nobody's using it. It's before the fair, so.
And actually, oddly enough, fire company number 5 may want to use a pavilion over at the playground side, but I don't see how that would be a
Yeah, it's like opposite side of the park.
no, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Can you guys,
Just a second, Tim.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I don't know how well you guys can see this. This is the, can you see this at all?
Yeah.
It's kind of reversed. So the 4-H building's up there. This pavilion is right, I'm doing this backwards, so bear with me. It's this one right here. Okay, the road kind of wraps around it. Right where that dot is, that long one right there. It's below the 4-H building. It's got the open sides on it.
It's the ice skating pavilion. Will you guys be putting ice in there?
Oh, well, we might have to chill it down a little bit. Yes, that's the one. I should have known that.
Do we want to make a contingent motion? Somebody make one.
I'll make the motion,
What would it be?
whatever the words would be,
We allow the,
to allow this to happen.
what's your name of your Owego Appalachian Youth Football?
It's Owego Appalachian Football Club.
It used to be called the Washington Redskins, but now it's the,
Right, we did have a name change. It was Owego Junior Football League, but we changed, once Appalachian got rid of their program, we wanted to encompass them. So now we have Appalachian kids and Owego kids.
so I believe Mr. Plater is making a motion that we allow you to have that on that
In that.
barbecue on that day and that location, and that we are going to waive any
Upon
village.
submittal of the temporary food.
Yeah, the contingent on that health department.
Certainly.
And we're going to waive any of the village fees.
Yep, what he said.
As a Charles said. Second, I would like to second that.
Thanks, guys.
Got a motion and a second. Let them use the pavilion and their chicken barbecue and waive the fees.
Contingent.
Yeah, is Jeff still on? Jeff, see any issues with that? I know you're having issues over there with the water. Is that spot where we're having issues with the water?
Remember how long it takes to get Jeff to.
I know.
So Tim, we're going to vote on this in a second, but I will say one thing that always bugs me with Strawberry Festival and stuff, and I know you said you're going to keep it pristine, but that's grease from these things. So yeah. Appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. We will absolutely make sure that all measures are taken to not have any spills or.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely. No problem.
Yeah, we can get you garbage cans and stuff. Jeff, you got any input?
We don't have time for that.
Well, we can't.
Remember, we don't hear him for the first 20 minutes.
We don't drink this every time. That's just like you don't.
You're gonna have to get some crayons and paper to write your
Jeff, are you talking?
Not yet.
Oh, it's the eyes.
Can you hear me now?
Is he talking?
I don't see his right.
Laura, you're missing all this.
Hang on a
money.
minute.
There we go.
There is a problem with the water down there. We solved one leak today, but there's still a massive leak down there. We're still trying to figure out where it is. So as of right now, the water's turned off, other than to the pool.
So Tim, obviously, we're going to try to fix that water, and I would assume we're going to fix it, but you're going to have to keep in touch with us and make sure that we have the water so that you don't have to make a different arrangement.
Absolutely. We'll do. No problem. Yeah. And if
Jeff,
obviously repairs take time and manpower. So if it doesn't, if it's not feasible, that I'm sure we can work things out with bringing water in.
And this date of this event doesn't clash with any DRI things we have in store for that time, right? Nope. Yeah.
So Jeff, you think that's a good idea? We do that and hopefully contingent on the things are prepared and ready.
The fair's the next
Yeah.
week.
Okay.
Yeah. Hopefully we get it fixed. If not, I mean, we can work something out,
Vote on it.
That's our goal, is to fix everything for the fair. So that's the next week. So hopefully we'll have it all fixed up again.
Yeah.
Let's do
All
it.
right, let's vote on it. Ron,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and that's for me. All right, so Tim just, with me and probably Jeff, and we'll, get it worked out. Hopefully the water will be fixed.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, board members and everyone for your support. And we will definitely keep in touch and have a successful event for sure. And I will definitely get the health department on board and follow up with them and keep you in the loop.
There you chicken.
Yeah.
So we water the next day, the electricity goes out. Is that how that goes?
All right, let's see, are you good, Tim?
I'm all good. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it.
Okay. Beth, you have a public comment?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thanks for having me, board members. Couple things. One, I'm woefully unprepared for. I got 3 things to talk about. The first one is Firehouse Subs, if you recall, was here last, about this time, June for a week. They will be back next Monday through Saturday from 11 until 7 in Station 2 parking lot. Proceeds from that fundraiser will go against the steamer project. Last year we did about 2,500, and they challenged us to beat the Chukanut Center, which raised about 3,500 2 weeks ago. So, and this is the one I'm unprepared for. So our idea before bringing them in again was to do an event at the firehouse or in the area to try and draw people down there just to buy subs and do some PR for the fire department and hose team. So the thought is to do a hose race demo, do a night where firefighters read to children, show them fire trucks, that kind of stuff. So I would ask for the board's permission to close Temple Street between North and Central for an hour, maybe 6 to 7. I don't know what specific night. Can you just give me leeway to do that? If we do, we might not even.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, we did fun with firefighters and the police and the paramedics. And so I actually just think we gotta do that again this year, now COVID's kind of over. Let's plan for that too.
Yeah. So Firehouse will be here Monday, the 14th through Saturday, the 19th, which is not this upcoming week, but a week from this Monday, or today, actually.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm unprepared for this one. I don't know what night we would do it, but I certainly can work with Mike and come up with something. I just want, number one, I want to let you know about it. Number two, if we wanted to shut down the street for an hour or so, I just want your permission to do so. Mr. Wolf.
Go ahead. If we're going to do this, let's make it longer than 1 hour because this could be a 2-3 hour thing, so longer than that. So once again, if we decide we're going to do this, I would recommend that we give the mayor the authority to negotiate the night and the time.
Last time we got the bounce house.
Yeah.
Something that gets me there.
So I make the motion that, is it motion time already? Shall we make the motion in the middle of Mr. Gavin's time? Yeah. So I make the motion that we allow the host team to have a night with firemen, potential hose races. I'm going to stop my motion. Fire hydrant there that we can use and the permission, is that all?
I was going to go over that under the central part.
Okay. So the motion is going to be that we allow the host team to have a night that they close at the Temple Street from north to central. Negotiate, and the mayor has the authority to pick the time, the length and the time with them, and contingent on, of course, the Suez and the hydrant and use. I guess that's it.
You call it a block party?
No, I don't want to call it that.
Okay.
So,
But I need to get a schedule.
They'll just start promoting it.
And another thought, you just
we're
reminded.
in the middle of that motion.
I'll
Let me finish that up,
I'll
okay?
second that.
Let's dispose of that.
Vote on that?
But that's just a piece.
We'll vote on this piece.
We're going to allow the posting to close Temple from north to central some evening between June and 14th and 19th at the mayor's discretion and the length of time in that evening at the mayor's discretion. Contingent on being allowed to use the fire hydrant spotlight.
We'll vote on that quick.
Quick
Ron,
vote.
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
That was Laura. Fran,
The discussion isn't in the middle of motion.
There's the. Speak up.
No, not in the middle of the motion. We're in the middle of voting on the motion. It's not open for debate in the middle of the motion. It's not.
Would it be something that be an impact on?
Well, yeah, we're just wondering what the impact on the EMS getting.
Getting the fire trucks out of the front of the station? It's not my meeting, it's the mayor's meeting.
figure it out.
Okay, I'm gonna abstain, okay?
Okay. Laura, you're voting yes? I think already.
Laura, did you vote yes?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I heard it before. She called in.
She did, she said yes out of
Another
it.
yes for me.
Now the motion's off the floor.
We'll figure out the EMS stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
My only concern is that if we can keep that alleyway open so that when we
All
come
behind
out.
the station.
Yes,
To do what? What, we don't take ambulances out of the alleyway, what's the alleyway for?
parking for the EMTs that are showing up for the calls to be able to have a place to zig in and.
I'm gonna help you with that. We have a street called Central Avenue, and there's a parking lot behind that street that goes behind there's another way to that. Down Central Avenue, through the dirt parking lot behind where the county has their building behind Sam's Diner, and into that alley from the other direction. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
So if there's a problem for an EMT person being able to park, that's the way to come in that night when that street's closed to park. Good, does that work?
I just wanted to make sure.
Just saying that'll take care of that.
No, that's not what you're not listening. The thing that I just don't want the alleyway blocked is all. That's all I care about, because no matter which direction you come in, you have to be able to.
To do what?
Closed. I don't understand.
We're gonna show you that, take care of that. There's another way into that alleyway and the same back way back out. You don't have to come through Temple Street to get in and out of that alleyway. Yes, no?
You're the boss.
I'm not the boss.
I just brought up what I can say. Okay, it's fine.
I'll take you over and show you later.
Thing would be, we hired Delta Engineers and McElwain Engineering on North Valley to develop site plans, building plans. Okay. I think we finally hammered out a site plan. So that should be going to the planning board in July, I believe. So heads up on that. And when we get final plans, we'll be sure to share them all with you. Just FYI on that. And then the final thing is in your January meeting, you approved all the convention stuff in July, contingent on COVID. I just want to go through all that stuff real quickly, just to make sure everybody's on the same page as to what's happening and what you all quote unquote approved. Just make sure we're all on the same page. Real brief. So Thursday is a welcome reception at the Legion. You're welcome to come. Don't need you there.
Well,
Friday, there's a golf outing in Owego Golf Club. non-issue. Friday night on the flats, we have a block party. So I don't know if we need to reapprove these or what, but so we're gonna shut down Toggett Street between Spruce and McMaster to have a block party in front of Threes from probably 5 to 8. Right. And then we have bounce house across from Threes, and we have firehouse up and for that event, et cetera. So I believe we already have. Then from there, we transition to Front Street, Draper Park. Fireworks, permits have been submitted and approved. It'll be a 26-minute long, 500 round fireworks. Permits have already been approved. I will swing down and see Jeff just to make sure the perm 33 with the state is cool. Because we did submit the paperwork to Jeff, and I'm sure he's on it. I'll follow up with him. So I think we're clear there. And then the after party, Carly Corn, which doesn't involve. So then Saturday morning, we'll be at the Baker Fireman's Fountain for the memorial service special awards. Do we need approval to use that space for that? It'll be basically the same thing we did at the fountain. Set up the chairs there, stage. Great.
Any traffic problem or anything that we don't have to do any streets or traffic?
Go up in there. From there, we go back to the VFW for lunch, and then we have closed races out on the VFW on the corner of Main and Church. Now, our original thought was to run closed races east towards Spencer. Now I'm thinking if we flip it around, because Main's gonna have to shut down at Church Street anyways, or not Church, Lake Street anyways, we just run back towards the VFW. So between like 12:30 to 3 p.m., the Main Street be shut down between Spencer and that would also involve Church Street being shut down at Front Street. I believe we good there. And then you all approve the waiver for the hydrant fee. My question to Nate would be, or anybody on the board knows it, when you all waive that fee, is that a case-by-case basis, or when you waive it once, does that cover us?
I think I would treat it case by case as opposed to once, forever and ever.
Usually you're. You know what? We'll take a going in tree.
Okay, we'll continue to do that. I would just suggest when the contract negotiation comes back up with Suez, and the board consider giving us some sort of information on that contract. I know it came up at recent history. Okay, so moving on, are we good on the waiver for the hydrant still?
Yeah, we proved it all.
Okay. Okay, so then from the hose race, we would transition to the parade, which would go through downtown. And again, the firm 33 paperwork I gave to Jeff, so hopefully we're clear there. The parade will last an hour tops. We've got 4 different bagpiper bands. We've got 6 other brass bands, hopefully numerous fire departments. So I believe the approval you already granted is still in place for that.
What time's the parade?
5 o'clock kickoff.
I'll say just make sure, any police. She signed the line.
Yeah, he signed the parade permit, so he should know about it, I will, and we're gonna ask OPD. We will do that. And then after that, it's over rainbow, so that doesn't involve an approval, and then some events of breakfast. My understanding is the board, I'm good. The board's good with all of that still.
Thank you. I wanted you to refresh the board on what they passed last year and then what we repassed so that they understood what was going on. What time's the fireworks?
Sundown, so the target would be 9:30-ish.
Okay. Of course, we got to close various streets and things for that.
Parade would be closed,
Yeah.
Parker Lane would be closed, Front Street at probably Academy would be closed, the same thing they do.
Yeah. Okay.
And Hitchin, John Hitchin, the fire police.
You gotta go out? What were the dates on this?
July 8th through the 11th.
Okay.
Thursday through Sunday.
Sure. You gotta go eat. Okay.
Thanks, Pat.
Any questions for me on that? Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
And like I said, I'll follow up with Chuck.
Somebody's talking to their husband on the thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Brad.
Hey, Pat.
Okay.
All right. Next, we'll do department head reports.
So first of all, I got a new member, Scott Franks, 295 Lackawanna Avenue in the village of Owego. Joined company number 4s.
Move we approve Scott Franks for membership in OFD company number 4s. In the discussion on, Jim, how old is he getting? Young kid or
Yeah, he was born in 98.
23? Okay.
Any discussion? Who said it? Oh, Brown. Brown did. We'll vote on this. Brown?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
Fran?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And yes.
Thank you. Again, this year OFD is asked to lead the senior parade for the graduating class. That's going to be June 24th, starting in Appalachian, coming down through the village and then at the high school. Be partaking in that.
So it's just a drive through the village. kind of
Yep.
thing.
Yeah, we'll be coming right down Fifth front.
You know what time that'll be?
Like court. We're going to leave Appalachian at 5:45.
What day is it?
June 24th, Thursday. We ran 27 calls for the month of May. Then we held our elections, everything stayed the same. So, don't know if you want to do that, accept that or whatnot.
Mr. Mayor, I want us to hold off the next meeting for the exception of the election based on a personnel issue. Okay. Tell us a fire truck.
And then fire truck, I sent you all the emails. I think you've seen them. I think you saw my last email that says within 60 days, and that was what, 3 weeks ago, the price is going up 8% because of steel costs, fuel costs, yada, yada, yada. Every cost. So the nice part, from what I understand, and it's here in paperwork, but we put down our down payment, which we have the money in reserve, but we don't have to make the first payment for a full year term. So
I guess. So that's a lease to own.
yeah.
Has Nate seen that paperwork?
Then all the emails, I don't know if it's bonding that's cheaper.
Yeah, I just don't know if we can do that without all the steps, the publishing the paper and this and that.
Generally, the bonding
Yeah,
takes
as
us
long as we stayed under the 5-year mark, just like the Scott packs, right?
So I guess I didn't quite hear what the chief was looking to purchase.
A fire truck.
fire truck.
You got my email, right, Nate?
Say it again, chief.
You got the emails, right? Everything I sent
When did you send them?
3 weeks ago?
Oh gosh, well, 3 weeks ago, then yeah, sure, I got them, but
You wrote back on something, I don't remember what.
Yeah, let me just pull up my emails because I just don't recall specifically the conversation or the email chain right now.
So I had recommended, and the chief will decide if he wants to do it, and I had recommended to him just to refresh us again on some stuff that he may think about going over real quickly with us. What fire trucks we have, what kind of shape they're in, how old they are, and what fire trucks we need to fight a fire with. So to give us just a quick, better feel. I know you've done this many times about why this is important to anybody to buy this fire truck.
So 801 is a 1995 pumper. That's currently the one we're waiting on the AFG grant for. So hopeful that we get the AFG grant again.
And that would purchase, that grant's enough to purchase a new pumper to replace 801.
I think it would be, 10% buying it.
Small man.
Like the Scott packs, it's the same grant. This truck that we're trying to replace here is our first new engine. It goes on every single call. It's a 2004. Obviously, you all know the issues. It's part of the email I sent you. It's costing the village taxpayers $9,760 a year in maintenance. 841 is our ladder. It's 20 years old. 851 is our rescue. That's a 2008, I think, 2010. And then our tanker is 803, which is a 2018.
2018.
So hopeful
803 is a 2018?
Right.
So that's new.
Yeah.
Is 804 the pumper also?
Yes.
So, Chief, I've just pulled up the email chain. I think there was just like one email. And so did you say that the lease financing would be less than 5 years? Is that right?
You can get 5 years, 7 year, 9 year, 12 year, 15 year.
Right. So if you go beyond 5 years, then it would be subject to a permissive referendum. And then the other thing you have to do with a lease financing is get quotes from banks to show that a bank would not bond you monies at a better interest rate than what the lease financing option has available for it. So, 2.89%, that's the minimum, or that's the 5-year option. That's pretty high, I think, for right now. I think other banks have been giving better rates than that. I actually just had a client ask me about refinancing a lease purchased set of equipment because they could get a better interest rate today. And because they used the lease financing, they can't convert it to a bond currently. So again, it's one of the requirements to do a lease financing that you have quotes from some banks showing that the lease financing gets you a better interest rate anyway. So, I mean, you need to go to Tioga State Bank, maybe Chemung Canal, NBT, to see what rates they would offer you.
What is permissive referendum?
So that's the thing we always use all the time, right? So you pass the resolution authorizing it, a notice goes in the paper, the voters have a chance to file a petition to make it go to an election. Never seen it happen, but it's a requirement under state law.
That usually takes 30 days to give them the opportunity to demand a referendum. That's a code.
All right, so my only concern, I don't care where the money comes from. That's totally up to you guys. But my worry is I don't want to see the village taxpayers have to spend an additional 8%.
Right. So tell us that
$500,000.
Tell us that definitively, to the best you can. When does the 8% go
I
up?
can get an exact date, but he said
You said something about 60 days.
60 days, and that was 3 to 4 weeks ago. Roughly.
So another month.
Do you think we have as much as a month? Or do you think we have a week, 2 weeks, a month?
You got 30 days you got to put it out for, right? Public notice?
Good question.
Well, yeah, I mean, what we should be doing, if however you choose to finance it, is putting a resolution together, and then that formally lays out all of the contents of what the borrowing or the lease financing looks like. That includes all the supporting background information, and then 30 days from whenever you do that. So if we had everything ready to go by your next meeting in June, it'd be 30 days from that date that you could authorize that you could move forward with actually ordering the vehicle.
So is there like a way we can cut a corner to nail down this price so we don't have to deal with the 8% increase? And I would say,
You have the money on hand, you can buy it. You have to have the financing authorized before you can actually order the vehicle. And this is a Sourcewell contract, so the pricing is fixed in that contract according to the terms that are within it. So I'd be curious about how they know it's going up 8% already. I mean, this is effectively a piggybacking, or like it's cooperative purchasing. And so this contractor vendor presumably put in a price and annual increases within the contract. We should be able to check with certainty like when that pricing actually goes up. Think of it almost like purchasing from the state through OGS contracts. The pricing is what the pricing is, and unless they have something goofy in their contract provisions. But I mean, vendors do this all the time. They say, oh, the price is going to go up in 2 more months.
I'll see if I can lock down a letter from them tomorrow.
Thank you, Jim.
Well, Jim, they'll definitely give you we'll keep this pricing good for 30 days. They'll give you that letter.
that's what I was asking.
It's more like, what is the piggybacking, what does the cooperative purchasing networks contracts say about price increases? Not what they're willing to keep the pricing fixed for a period of time.
So either way, 804 is very tired. It's spraying a fuel leak. It's spraying an oil leak. The foam system stopped working last week. The air compressor stopped working last week. I had a company come in. I'm waiting for a quote. I really don't want to put the money in the truck. It doesn't make sense. So it's totally up to you guys, but I don't feel safe with my members driving that truck for much longer.
That's frame issues.
So it is.
It was repaired, but we don't know how long that's going to last.
So last piece, Jimmy, so we have the tanker, we have rescue, we have the ladder, and Lord help us about a ladder, because that's so much money, we don't want to think about it. And our general needs are 2 pumpers. Okay. Once again, people need to
804
understand,
is our biggest need because that's a 6-man cab, where 801 is a 3-man cab.
bigger pumper. 804 is the larger pumper. But just so everybody understands what the chief says we need, why we need it, what we're doing.
Which one would be replacing?
Okay.
804, 6-man.
That's the biggest need.
The bigger one.
The one with the American flag on the side.
Yeah,
I don't remember when we got that.
I don't know what number it is.
So
I
that
see it
goes,
going through town.
that goes down tomorrow. What is that scenario? I mean, for you and your guys.
Pray there's no fire.
Move 801 over, pray that nothing happens to that. If something happens, then we gotta have mutual aid. So we get the truck.
Then we scramble.
Whether we go Gardens 2 popping up here quickly and stuff like that. It's a truck we don't want to be down without. Like I said, it goes on 99% of our calls.
Your first email about it was the 17th of May, so we're already hitting that full week mark. We better get moving, I guess.
Brush fire season.
So
The other possibility, we lose the truck altogether, and then we gotta wait another 6 to 8 months.
So the thing everyone just has to remember, regardless of which financing option you choose, you have to go get bank rates to support either the lease financing or to choose your bond option. So you're not going to be able to vote to finance this tonight. You're going to have to do it at the next meeting. And then it's going to be probably 30 days from then before you can say, okay, let's order the truck. Unless you have money on hand today to appropriate and pay for this thing, and you won't be able to borrow money to pay yourself back in the future if you authorize the purchase tonight.
So who will go and ask the banks about the rates?
Yeah.
We tell Rodney to ask the bank. How much you got?
Let's find out. Let's find out.
Well, it's 518,000. We put down 150 if you want out of the reserve. So this says lease amount 368,784.
So we want to know about financing. And we have more, not that we want to use all the reserve, but we have more reserve than that.
Should be 260, somewhere, 230.
In the reserve, 237 or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, the numbers the chief just gave, 518, if we use 150 of our 237 reserve, we'd have to finance 368.
Do you have potential means to pay that off in 5 years? I mean, I know the lease was a 5-year term. I'm assuming if the bank is a lower interest, there'd be less payments over the 5 years. If they'll go lower for 5 years, I don't know.
Of course, how long have we obligated that, which we have to renegotiate with Owego Center, a new contract with them, but how long have we obligated that money for the Skyler fix? Is that?
Yeah, their bank's paid for, right? Yeah.
That's all paid?
Yeah, because they're correcting.
Okay, so that would be a potential way, would be that it was 42 grand or whatever we could negotiate. That's something that could be done.
I'm just hoping to avoid over that 5-year window, so it's a little
Yeah.
easier for us.
I could enter my name in the
Well-
Ohio vaccination.
Once again, this is just vague in general. If we somehow got 50 grand from Owego, I don't know what we're going to get, but I don't know if we're going to get 10 cents or 100 grand. If we got 50, suppose it went up and we got 50 grand from them. Of course, EMS is part of that too. But anyway, it doesn't matter. We're just making it. If we got 50 grand for them and we got it for 5 years, it'd be 250 grand. We're talking about 368. And if we wanted to use the whole damn reserve, which isn't also wonderful, we might be able to fudge that around to close enough to make that happen. It's just one possible way, which we're not going to decide this very minute. $80,000 if we do the 368. Yeah, I was talking to try and get it down.
Right.
Yeah.
368.
80 grand. Yeah, if we got it down to 250 and we had to come up with 50 or 60 grand, that'd be a different place.
I guess I need a number, good number. I need a number.
Why don't you ask them for another number? Why don't you ask them for 368? Why don't you ask them for 300? Why don't you ask them for 250? I mean, that shouldn't be, it should be easy. I just made that up. I'm just making that up. I don't know.
Reserve a couple $100,000.
Yeah, 237, I think.
I was just making that.
I mean, this
thought
one,
process.
this here says if we put $150,000 down at 5 years, we're paying, your payment amount would be $79,722.
Which is just about what you said, 80 grand.
That's at 2.89%.
I'll do one at 369.
Do we want to invest? I know it changes the terms of what we got to do. But we want to investigate longer terms, longer than 5 years.
Stretch out more than 5 years? Oh.
That became more problematic.
Yeah, that's right.
So Chuk, when you ask these banks this stuff, I mean, it should be simple for them to generate most anything, right? It won't be
No,
terribly complicated.
I got a few rates today from the EMS.
Why don't you, I'm suggesting, why don't you do 200 grand for the years? Once again, thinking along that lines of the 42 we get now, 5 years, that's around 200. But you do 200 and then some increments above that.
250 up.
Some increments of 253, 368. Because we're going to have some stimulus money and we might be able to take a piece of that. Maybe not, maybe we won't. These are some possibilities.
So the rates I got from the EMS were 2.25,
Okay,
1.6.
okay.
So you can put down there, like save a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
So you had.
You're gonna get a hold of them and
Yeah, I'll
find some more stuff.
investigate it.
You got anything else?
So there'll be like a commitment letter,
Trying to get you out.
something like that.
What do you,
That'll be like a commitment letter, but let them know that we're gonna do this, but it's gonna take a little time. try to stop that 8% increase? Is that what you're gonna do?
No, he's gonna ask him the questions.
No,
Oh,
We can't do a commitment letter because we can't do that. He's gonna ask him, what are these real deadlines? What date does he ask you to do? When does this contract up? What are the real dates? What are the prices? What's happening?
30 days.
Yeah, I can give you the whole bid book if you want. You want this tonight? I'll just come get it. Are you done with it? Or you want me to bring it over? I'll come over tomorrow.
Because you don't have a life.
Yeah,
You done?
I'm done. Anything else? No.
Thanks.
You want the fair board meeting now? Yay.
You were hoping for that.
We'll lock up here. Don't worry.
Heat in the kitchen.
Kind of crawl through the thing.
I think Jeff is asleep.
Looks like.
It looks like he's sleeping. Throw something at him.
Jeff.
Jeff is sleeping. Yeah, we'll leave Jeff.
You want to get out of here or you want us to do Tracy? What do you want us to do?
We'll live here,
I don't care.
Fun here.
It's my house.
Jeff, you're live. You're sitting.
All right. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jeffrey.
Here we go.
I think I heard.
I don't have anything additional.
That's it.
Does anyone have anything for Jeff?
Now, how do we make out with that situation I called you about?
Gonna have to refresh my memory.
105 Dean Street. Is it 105? 50?
150.
150 Dean Street.
150, yeah. I know Terry was talking with the individual that owns it and the individuals that represent some of the tenants. So we're working on it.
Okay. Just in case I get another call, I can let them know.
Yep.
Working in that direction.
Apartment buildings. I'd like to just do one, Mr. Mayor, if I could. I'd like to grab another little piece of Charles's stuff because I don't like to compliment people, but I'm good. Charles is good at that, but I want to do it now. Mr. Souls and actually all of our department heads, so I don't want to leave anybody out because they're all just do above and beyond. But Mr. Souls was on the lawnmower today. He's the head of the department. He's on the lawnmower all day mowing down those houses on Liberty Street. The yards are just a mess and look like crap. And he's there all day in 90-degree heat, mowing that down because we don't have enough budget and enough people. So thanks, Jeff, for doing that.
Yeah, I see the mattresses disappeared off the corners. So thanks for that.
Oh, I know what I was gonna ask you. You have an update on the pool? Already coming.
What pool? The pool will be open by the end of the month, as always.
Okay.
Thank you.
We do have a major water leak
Oh, God.
at Marvin Park, but it's the system that goes around the park. The pool's on its own separate line. So we fixed one leak, but there's still a major leak someplace and we can't find it. Waterworks is supposed to give me the contact information for a company that specializes in finding leaks.
Sinkhole.
So I'll get that probably Wednesday and see what that's going to cost us. They actually do a ground penetrating radar to figure it out.
Okay.
Mike? Quick thing about the pool, without it costing us $100 million, you know, the little strip along the top of the pool that stuff was shooting out of last year. Is that something
That's being repaired.
Thank you.
Yeah, let us know a date because we'll have to coordinate our.
We had to do a splash.
Okay.
That's a
It won't be
requirement.
till after school's out, but I'll get you a date.
Mural looks good.
Yeah, but the wall is.
Yeah, it came out nice.
Quite good.
Can you see it from the?
Yes.
Thanks, Jeff.
Nice to have some lights.
They also installed the bench around the tree over by the playground area.
Good.
That came out nice too.
I haven't heard about the sign. I know he was making the sign. It's probably coming soon.
I think about
Yeah,
it.
I haven't heard anything about the sign either.
But fairly soon, but yes,
Hopefully before the end of the month.
probably before the end of the month, yeah. So I know they got the umbrellas for the lifeguards.
Good.
So, yeah, we all have pools.
Are those lights on Lake working now, Jeff, that since you replaced the globes?
All but the last 2 or 3, there's a problem underground. Supposedly the DRI is supposed to help us fix that stuff.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
If we ever get that far.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Well, Mayor, I'd like to suggest that you write the Rotary a letter of thank you from the board.
I can do that.
I have Qantas's address if you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can set up something WBNG to come in. One day. Oh, you don't want us on television doing it.
They always come. We get over Jack.
Jake will come there. He's been coming everywhere.
Yeah.
Jack.
Jack, he'll be right back. Yeah, anybody else have anything else?
I don't have to-
We'll get your beach party ready.
Good swimming, buddy.
Yeah, we can get some more miles.
Send Jeff home.
Jeff, I think we're good. I don't see anything else on the agenda that's yours. So, you can hang around if you want, or you don't have to.
He's still sleeping.
Go walk your dog.
So just so you're aware, I won't be in tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right. Take care.
No.
Yeah, you too. Good night.
Should we do Tracy next? Tracy, you there? You can hang with us.
Good evening, everybody. Everybody hear me all right?
Oh, yeah.
Here, Jeff.
Okay, I just wanted everybody to be aware, I was contacted last week. Although the new ATAD digestive system is working fairly well, the ATAD people are not happy with the way it's performing, and they're looking at redesigning a bunch of the piping and making a bunch of modifications. I was told that any modifications that they make will be totally on their dollar. So I just wanted everybody to be aware of that. And I guess I had a question towards Nate to see if he could foresee any issues with them redesigning and making modifications to the system. As they put it to me, they said that they had gave a preliminary design to BCA, and they went so far in left field with it that they're not happy with the way some of the system was built and designed and built, and they would like to modify it back to the way they suggested. They feel the system will work a lot more efficient for us. The other, design the other direction.
Tracy, which contractor was that?
Say that again, Ron.
Which contractor is doing all this change work?
It's thermal process, so they're the people that have the patent on this ATAD system. They're the ones that provide all the SCADA communications that's working between all the tanks, all the equipment and stuff that way.
Oh, yeah, we just need a clarification. Thank you, Tracy.
So Tracy, one of the things I would just be hesitant about is doing work that modifies the system in a way that BCA doesn't sign off on, and just being aware that if the contractor is authorized to modify BCA's design, then if there's ever an issue in the future concerning this specific piece of it, BCA is going to say the village, wrongfully altered its design, and that's the cause of the problem, and BCA has no responsibility. So I guess it'll be up to the village's comfort level whether you want to try to get BCA's sign off on a change like this, or if you say to just go ahead without BCA's kind of sign off on it, knowing that there might be an issue with BCA in the future if there's ever a problem.
Even if the problem was their preliminary design?
Well, that's the thing though. There isn't a problem today, is there? And so it would be a better design according to the contractor, whose apparently system is, but I mean, Tracy, is that right? Or is there a problem is there an actual problem with how the system is functioning?
No, it's functioning and in my opinion, functioning well. Like today, when I fed sludge into the system, it was less than or right around the 4-hour mark, and it was back to Class A after having fresh sludge fed into it. So it's recovering and working quite well. But they're looking at numbers. They're monitoring the system from out in Indiana and stuff just daily, and they're just not 100% happy with the performance of it right now. They say it could run a lot more efficient if some of this off-gas piping was changed, so we could run the blowers at faster speeds and everything and not have foam issues. Right now, the way that the system's designed, if you run the blowers at higher speeds like they want to, it creates foam in the system. It's being mixed so vigorously, and it fills all the off-gas lines with foam. And so they're saying if they were designed differently and constructed different, they wouldn't have that issue. And by running the blowers a lot faster and everything, they would get a lot better performance out of the system.
And Nate's probably right.
So Tracy, is this something that it sounds like it doesn't have to be done now? So they're just saying, hey, you could make your system more efficient in the future. Is that right?
Right. I mean, other than like I say, their engineer, the guy that lives local from Thermal Process is an engineer, and he would like to bring a contractor on site as early as tomorrow. He's mentioned to start looking at and discussing these modifications and such. So, like I say, I wasn't sure what to.
Yeah, so maybe, I mean, the cost of this is unknown, right?
Right, and he's saying that any suggestions they make, any modifications they want to make will 100% be on their dollar. They will pay 100% of it.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I would recommend having them come on, in to take a look and put together, if they're willing to do this at their own cost, to take a look at it, put something together to tell us what they're planning to do, and then take that back to BCA and say to BCA, the contractor, the company whose system this is saying this can be set up better. We want you, BCA, to sign off on this as not interfering in any way with your system or the warranty and professional responsibility that BCA has. And if BCA signs off on it, then great. If BCA says no, then I guess we'll have to consider the pros and cons of moving forward with or without BCA's blessing.
Tracy, was this something that process brought up to BCA prior, or is this something new?
I guess I haven't talked to Eric, the one that brought it up to me. I don't know if he has discussed this with BCA or not. I'll talk to him tomorrow about that, but I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
Thank you, Tracy.
So Mike's, once again, several moving parts on this deal. And we like the idea that thermal process is willing to do this and to do it for nothing, but that there's something there that we don't quite understand why they're willing to do that. Is it for their reputation? Is it for because they're contractually bound in some way? They have some liability. We don't know any of this stuff. We need to know it. I think the idea about doing this stuff with BCA is exactly what we probably need to do. And yet at the same time, these guys want to do this, they want to do it now. But if they, once again, we don't know the dynamic there. But if we push this down the road 3 years and then something goes and needs to do it, they might not be willing to do that for nothing then. So we got to put all those parts together. And I don't know what it is.
Something that they created that might happen.
So who does it? Who does what?
So again, I don't know if this helps clarify for the board. I mean, authorizing, I think Tracy could just simply invite thermal processing and their contractor to come in and take a look. And let's see what they actually end up suggesting in writing as the quote unquote solution here. And then Tracy can have the conversation with BCA that I've suggested. And then by the next meeting or the first meeting in July, you might be in a position to say, yep, go ahead and go about doing it or not. But at least I think there's some information items that need to get gathered, which was maybe Rusty's point. So there's nothing for the board to do tonight other than say, Tracy, go ahead and, explore this further.
That sounds like the order.
Okay, that sounds like the plan. Like I say, I just wanted everybody to be aware of it. That it was brought to my attention and that they want to look at making these modifications. So as far as I'm aware, they're going to be on site tomorrow. I'll have some further conversation with them then. And like Nate says, we'll see what they come up with and go from there.
Mayor, this is your ship, so you're the decider of this stuff.
Well, I would think the biggest question is to ask them is why they think these modifications would be better moving forward if it wasn't brought to their attention before. I mean, I love to live in a world where people give away things for nothing out of the kindness of their heart, but we know we don't live in that world to a certain extent. So yeah, there's a lot of things that just raises your haunches thinking, why would they are willing to do this for nothing?
Well, and I think it's, the best I can tell so far, it's from what I can gather, it's like Rusty said, it's just they're worried about their reputation and they are seeing that this facility is not working up to their satisfaction and they want it to. They just, that's the type of company they are. So.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think there's that many BCA constructors, but I don't think there's that many of those systems on the East Coast. So they may be trying to do it to use our numbers to sell it, their system in other places. I don't know.
But you're the man that tells them what to
It
do.
doesn't hurt to have them look at it, see where we go from there.
Okay, that's all I had for this evening, other than I thought I ought to stick around for the other discussion about BCA's final payment, so.
Yeah, you want that now? We'll get that.
Poor Robin's got to wait through all this.
That's really a neat.
Didn't we already approve this?
No, I think we made it.
I thought I made a motion, 3 months ago.
The minutes.
Yeah, it was on,
Go ahead, Tracy.
yeah, it was at the March 8th meeting. It was voted on to make the payments in 2 separate payments. We did make the one smaller payment. BCA is having an issue with the check for some reason, refusing to cash it. And I guess from what Nate has indicated, their lawyer has mentioned to him now they would like to be paid electronically and not a check, so at all. So, and then they're going to return the check for the 54,000 or whatever, the smaller amount.
We had two checks, 122 grand and 52 grand that we approved on that day.
So,
Right, and we paid the 52. That's what was left in EFC money. The rest was coming out of ours. And like I say, they've got an issue with the way the check was written or something. I don't really understand it, but they're refusing to cash it.
So to jump in, so I think what happened in March was the general payments were authorized, but there was still an ongoing potential item that Tracy was had implemented a fix for, and we were waiting to see how that worked out. So the final settlement agreement was never approved in March. That's what we would be asking actually tonight, that the settlement agreement resolving all outstanding issues with the wastewater treatment facility upgrade project and BCA be approved. And it just basically says, here's the amount of money the board already authorized in March. We're going to pay you that. They accept it. They don't come back with any more additional claims for any other services or costs. It's kind of, this is the walk away, hands clean things, except we preserve the right for the village to bring up issues that you don't know about yet, which are typically related to professional negligence claims, that if they design something incorrectly, and we understand and identify that, however far from now. So it's just a motion to approve the settlement agreement with BCA, and then that's all set, and we'll get the wire over to them at the end of the week, and then that's basically it for the project in BCA.
Is it one of those numbers from March?
It's the two, I think there were two motions, but it's the two numbers added together. It's like 175,000 total, I think.
Yep, I see it. That's 175 exactly, yes.
Right.
Okay.
all right, then I would move that we pay BCA $175,000 by wire transfer. What, Nate?
Rather, Ron, it's a motion to approve the settlement agreement. You already authorized the payment.
To approve the settlement agreement of $175,000 via wire transfer per BCA's request. That will settle us up to date. Am I correct, Nate?
Yeah, it's going to settle you for everything.
Right.
I second the motion.
Okay.
And it is 175, right? So they haven't gotten either the 52 or the 122. They don't have any of it. Okay.
Correct.
Yes, it's coming back. Our
Yeah,
way.
gotcha.
They have our check.
You're supposed to put a cancel in that.
With the bank.
Kim notified me she already canceled the check.
Who did?
Okay, so should we vote on that? This is the motion to accept the settlement agreement. Ron,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and yes. Good, that's good.
Tracy, is there a date for the East Temple Green Street project?
There's no date yet. That bid package was sent to Nate today, I believe, for his review. As soon as he's done with that review, it's gonna go out to bid. So that's where we're at with that, Charles.
Okay. I'm just wondering, I love the bicycle jump. Slash speed bump. I love it. But
Well, even after it's fixed, maybe we can talk to Jeff, maybe we can make something permanent there.
yeah, it slows the cars down, I tell you.
So,
The Uber car.
Yeah.
so that's all I have this evening.
We have anything, Tracy?
Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thanks.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tracy.
All right, Ron?
I'm quick and painless.
We should let you go first.
We've taken 136 calls in the month of May. So, we've got one structure that's in need of repair. It's got to get new hydraulics. So we have a manual one, which is old school, but that's in the loaner rig. So hopefully we don't have to break out the hard guns where we have to live. Other than that,
Are the other ones in repair?
well, it's gonna get repaired. The parts have been ordered, it's gonna get new hydraulics. But in the meantime, at least we have something that we can use.
Robin, is there so much money that you needed some approval or is it
No,
all
it's
set?
just 2,000. Just. But they came out and redid the stretcher mounts, which was part of the grant that we had. And so therefore we have different batteries as well as a different grip mount. It is heavier, makes the stretcher heavier, but it is more durable. So that got done last week. 3 timed calls to get the bay doors fixed. He kept saying they were done, weren't done. But finally the one bay door is finally fixed, so. Yay. Also, we have a new member to bring forward to you guys. His name is Don Wold.
How do you spell his name?
His last name?
Yeah.
W-O-L-D.
WLC.
W-O-L-D, as in dog.
Wold, Donald
Yes.
Wold, thank you.
I got it in my email.
Yeah, his father used to drive years ago for us. Yep, he just retired, and he went on calls this weekend. I have the paperwork here for you too, where he signed up on going for a ride along and still thought it was okay. I didn't realize that I knew him until he walked in the door because I didn't really know who the interview was with at that moment. So he's worked with several of the members that work at Lockheed Martin, so there's already a good camaraderie there. And speaking of that, this last weekend was my 24-hour weekend, and everybody knows I cook meals down there. And I invited OPD up, and about 10:30, all of a sudden we were, lights out, laying down. We see these broad shoulders coming in the door. Ooh, so he's coming up to eat, so we all just bounced back up. And, for over an hour, we were able to do that again. And I missed that because we used to do that with a lot of them. And now that they've got new members, it's nice that they feel they can come back over again, since it's good camaraderie there. And Officer Pike has been doing a lot of ride-alongs with us, with a lot of citations for the last couple weeks. So I can't say that enough about our OPD. They make us feel a lot safer with these psychiatric patients, and some of them are not small. It's quite scary. So anyway, go back to Donald about what
Donald Wold?
Yeah. I make a
How-
motion that, we take on Don Wald as a driver for the EMS.
Just some we go, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
And like,
Robin, how old is he about?
64, I think, 63, 64.
64, and he's from Appalachian. Thank you. Somebody seconded it.
Just don't ask me my age.
Never.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, any discussion on John? All right, Ron,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Fran,
yes,
Laura,
Yes.
and yes.
You'll be happy to know. Ta-da, that's all I had.
We shouldn't have made you wait.
Well, we already knew about the grant money. Well, anyway, somebody put in for the grant for the laptops, they all came in. One's already been activated and put into the rig, for Stu rig. She still has, I think, 2 or 3 more to program to get them up to stuff for the rigs.
so what was the total grant?
It was over 3,000. She did a really good job on that. And they're tough books, they're very durable. We also have the installment done that we have put it in place so that we could transmit from our monitors to the hospitals. Those have all been hooked up and are now capable of doing it with Wilson at this point. And I believe UGH is the other one. It's just a matter of time before the others, hospitals decide they want to get on board now. Because I know, well, Wilson Hospital has their program that they wanted us to get on board with. I wasn't enamored with it. I won't do it because I'm not computer savvy, so I still use the telephone and the radio.
I should have said it when the other department heads are here. June 18th, I set up a meeting with Doug Kameen, Tioga County IT, and me and the department heads, because we need to go over the shared IT stuff. When we move to the new building, we're gonna go, we passed a resolution a long time ago. And Doug's gonna come back to the board. The next meeting after that, on the 21st, to tell us about it, but they can basically save us money on IT services by consolidating a shared service with the county. But he'll need all of us, like, the county will become our pyramid, basically. So we'll still pay the county and we'll get what we need to get, but hopefully pay them less than we pay here.
So what are you planning on doing in your new building?
They're telling us,
About when the pyramids are built.
yeah, they're telling us, like, the winter.
Oh.
We're definitely planning it.
So what?
Yeah, yeah.
What's the time for that meeting on the 18th?
It's 10 in the morning. It's just it's just to give the department heads in a room to talk to Doug, to get that going. You know, what does the EMS need, IT wise, what does the police department need?
So where is?
And what do you have today? It's gonna be at Elm Street.
Elm Street. Okay.
So the board doesn't necessarily have to be there. Doug's coming on the 21st to the board meeting to kind of brief the board about
Do you know what time on the 18th?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. It's a Friday.
Hello,
Yeah, I know.
bus driver.
I know. You're gonna be a tough one. The same as Jimmy's really working.
So this guy doesn't think anybody else has a life of the kind of, we're just scheduled to switch.
Well, you know.
County meetings are always in the daytime because nobody else has anything to do.
So we can figure it out though. If you can't be there, we'll round up with him one time.
Maybe we could ride on the bus.
I'm losing the bus. There's a possibility, yeah, Bosse's is done. I get done at 9. You said this is at 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, last week talked my boss, and he's just looking down here.
I'm just taking the bus.
You should.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, I'll.
I should put that on the other guys here.
Monday, this is my personnel.
Okay.
Let's see what else we have for the financing for ambulance.
Yep.
Actually, you guys should record some prices on the ambulance. Put a bid out there for $124,000. I've got two legitimate offers. One was 2.25 and another one was 1.6. And these are for 5 years. And the only thing on the one for 5.6 is they don't want to have it prepaid.
So we can't pay it off early?
Unless I can negotiate it. What do you think about that, Nate? Any problem with that?
Pondering. Oh.
What was the question? Was there a question? I didn't hear what Rodney said.
Rates on the ambulance from 2.25 down to 1.6 for 5 years. But the 1.6 doesn't want to have a prepayment clause. They don't, they just.
So they get no,
They want it over 5 years, right? You can do either one. I mean, whatever you want to do. If prepayment is really key to you, then you could accept either. It's an RFP type situation. You're not required to go with a lower bidder.
I kind of like the low price,
How much was it we're gonna borrow?
124,000.
124. Do you know what the total payout would be in either?
Send it.
Thanks.
What were the banks, Rod?
1.6 Tiger State, 2.25 was Community Bank. And I didn't hear back from M&T or Chemung or.
So just flashing back real quick to the fire chiefs, talking about the lease financing. These rates are exactly why you go out to banks, because both of these are lower than the lease financing options that were talked about for 5 years. So, you'll save potentially a percentage point or two on the lease financing option with your local bank instead of going through this lease financing agency. But anyway, that's a whole other discussion.
I'm gonna recommend 1.6 for 5 years. Assuming you got first payment's not due. They want interest every 6 months.
So this is the one for the 160. You have the one for the 2.
No,
Okay.
About 25,000 a year.
1, 2, 3 and a half, 4,
pretty cheap.
5,
26,000.
6.
Good slower.
Right. You pay the person first.
Yeah, the interest is lower each year. Amount due.
And maybe before I do a final thing, I'll say, hey, can we prepay it off if we really want to do those students?
Yeah, because
Yeah, I was just looking at how much it cost us to borrow that money at 1.6.
Do we have any sort of motion for that meeting?
Yeah, you'll need a motion to authorize me to presumably put the bond documents together for, whichever bank that you're accepting. So that you said it's Tioga State Bank, Rod. So motion to accept Tioga State Bank's bond proposal for the financing of the, is a purchase or a re-chassis? I forget, but whichever one it is.
Re-chassis.
Yeah, for the re-chassis.
I'll second that.
I'll make the motion.
So yeah, right, just because it's numbers, I just added up the interest real quick vaguely, and it's about $6,000 worth of interest here. I was just curious how much interest we'd have paid at the 2.25, and therefore, and let's make it up, it's 8,000. That's how much, that extra 2,000 is our what we're paying for the option of getting out of it early.
Right.
Okay, just wanted, let's just know the numbers.
I'll double check.
I think 1.6 is like giving us money.
Yeah,
That's pretty,
I think 1.6 is pretty fair.
pretty well.
All right, so we got a motion and a second to accept the 1.6 from Tioga State Bank.
Last piece of discussion?
Yeah, any discussion?
Yeah. So once again, to save $1,000 or $2,000 interest is just, no, it's just, this is fine. This is what we should do. The reason you pay early to get out of it is just so we didn't have to pay so much interest, and it's not enough to matter.
Yeah.
So take the low rate probably.
So vote on that, Ron,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes,
Laura,
Yes.
and yes.
thank you, Rod, for doing it.
Exactly. The rest you don't pay for it.
You said that was Tioga State, Rodney?
Then I'll send you whatever I got.
Any idea when that's gonna show up, Rob?
Huh?
Do you have any idea when that will show up?
The re-chassis?
Yeah.
The original was 6 weeks away, so I'm actually pretty doggone close. Because it got delayed a little bit because we actually took the stretcher parts down. So, they're getting put in.
Well, I told them we're looking at the closing on July 1st.
Yeah, I will verify with.
I'll tell you, I want to get up and come over here and get this.
Did we have anything else?
Thanks, Robin.
Listen, we're going to do the thing about the budget. You have that good?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Let's do it.
Do you want Robin here for that? No, we're just letting her go home.
We got kids to transport tomorrow.
Say, get out.
No, just, we're letting you know.
That's all you gotta say, get out.
Tomorrow I'll show you how the cars get into the drive.
Good luck with that tomorrow, honey.
The kids have to wait an
Rodney. Move we bump the budget $5,586.91 from line A 2680 insurance recovery to line A 51824 street lighting for replacement of damaged light pole on Main Street. I don't know if you want all that in motion. If it can all be one to bump the budget?
Yeah.
All right. And does everybody have this piece of paper? Do you need it? Do you care? We're going to also bump the budget $1,094 from insurance recovery to Chevy, for Chevy repairs on Chevy Tahoe. And we're also going to bump it $11,306 from gifts and donations toward the dog canine car, that we purchased. So 3 different bumps, and the line items are here.
This is for the current year.
Yes.
I will second those.
Okay. Any discussion on those? Just balance in the, what's that here? Okay, so vote on those, Ron,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yep.
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and yes.
And Russ, I need you guys to make a motion to create a forfeit fund for the police department. And that's for money received from the county from federal forfeitures. But it's gotta be its own separate.
It has to be a different fund.
It is.
So once again, as we always ask from Nate and stuff, well, so we're going to create this fund, and then when we create stuff, it has things that you can only do with it. So what are we saying that we're going to do here? This thing says it's going to be from asset forfeiture, and it's going to be used by OPD for informants, drug buys, et cetera. How do they get the money out of the fund? Do they have to come to us each time? That wouldn't seem to make sense. How does this work? You know, I'm just saying, like, we create a reserve. I don't know how this all plays. Does Nate know this?
That's Nate who knows it.
Nate, you know what we're talking about?
Nate?
Yeah, I've never had anyone ask me about creating an asset forfeiture fund. I'm not familiar with the ins and outs of it. It's not a reserve fund. And
Okay.
like ones that we've talked about, I'm assuming, Rod, correct me if I'm wrong, that this is where the police deposit literally assets that have been forfeited through police action against criminals or, alleged criminals. So typically, like if the police search a vehicle and there's, I don't know, $1,000 in cash in it, and there may be some mechanism that $1,000 becomes forfeited to the police. And this would presumably be the fund in which the monies are deposited. And I'm assuming that the police would then use the monies for certain specific programs. I don't know the details of that, though. Those are all questions to ask the police chief.
So who asked for this? Did the chief ask for this?
This, I think it came from the county.
DA.
District. Has to be a special asset forfeiture fund.
I mean, I'm not unwilling to do it. We don't understand it.
I think they used to have. We have any
Do we have to specify what that fund can be used for?
I don't know.
That's like, that's.
Why don't we open up the fund and not detail this?
Like drug seized car goes to auction, then money goes into this fund?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
So the county is who contacted you about setting this up? Or the DA? Okay.
No, you can't go to the general fund, can't go to the fund. It has to go to the asset forfeiture.
They sent
It
it.
can only be used by OPD once it goes in. It's OPD's.
Okay. I'm not
Well,
so comfortable not knowing.
restrictions to the fund as far as how the money can be used.
No idea.
That's what we're asking.
We don't know that stuff yet.
Yeah, I'd like to hear more details about what it is they're asking
Okay.
about this.
Figure out more
The
details.
chief probably knows that stuff. You want us to ask the chief about?
Yeah.
Okay.
We know all about, normally, the county normally held this money and gave us money to do things we had to do, like go undercover and buy drugs or whatever. You know, like somebody takes money out of the account, gives it, says, go buy some stuff.
Get the stuff.
We want to do the PB, since we're on the police kick, we want to do the PBA MOU. It's a Nate.
You're up, Nate. Nate, what's that?
So Ron and, Ron, who's part of the negotiating team? Rusty and Laura. Sorry, Ron, you're not in this one. I just confused you with the people. So Laura and Rusty and the mayor will recall that during the union negotiations with the PBA, the FOIL procedural process came up, and we kind of said, well, we don't really think we need to negotiate with you about it. They disagreed. And as part of the resolution of that disagreement, we've come to terms about what will happen if and when a FOIL is sent to the village requesting specifically police officers' personnel records and kind of related files. So their initial proposal that they'd given us back in December, I think, my labor folks have done these with others, and it's significantly changed. I don't know the exact details, but this is something that we've used in other places, and we feel comfortable recommending that the village board approve. The PBA has approved this already, and so if the board approves this MOU tonight and the mayor gets it signed, then we're good to go, and we can call off their pending Taylor law action to resolve this because we'll have settled it.
Well, settled it. Their grievance goes away on this particular issue.
Yep, correct.
And so I don't know what, I'm part of the labor negotiation. I don't know what the details of this agreement are, but.
It just establishes a procedure for notification to the officers when a FOIL comes in. So the officer has the opportunity to be aware of it and review his file and kind of know what's going on. It doesn't give the officers any right to stop us from disclosing things because FOIL is
When we negotiated with them, that's what we said we could do, and they wanted more, and so we're going to do what we said we could do.
effectively.
Yeah, okay. Are you okay with that, Laura?
Yeah.
Okay. Mayor?
Yeah, and I sent it to everybody. Didn't get there, sorry.
Yeah. Are you okay with it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I move that we accept it. Go, Laura, go.
I looked over the MOU that came in the email.
Okay. And it's pretty much what we had talked about, and you're good for it. Gotcha. So move we approve that? PPA MOU?
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion about it? I sent it to everybody. It's 2 pages of legal stuff.
Okay, I'll take my computer back.
Normally I'd like to look at that first, but
This little tablet doesn't.
I'm gonna take everybody else's word for this.
So we'll vote on that, Ron,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and yes. I'll sign that and get that to you, Nate. Get that closed out. Next thing, minutes of 5/17 and 6/1.
For the minutes of the last meeting, I looked them over. I didn't get a chance to send in to Kim my suggestions, but in my comments on the discussion before we voted on the changing the flood law, I did want more of my stuff included. Like that, I'd met with the FEMA coordinator and the people on the CRS committee. That I recommended that we check out the options that were presented to us in the emails for, instead of just removing that paragraph, that we looked at the other options that they presented to us. And I did want it stated that I would never, let's see, how do I word that? I believe I said that I wasn't comfortable changing the law because it opened up builders to build in our actually, like, it was we were going to allow them to for the compensatory storage. If you remove that law, then builders could come in and build up property without removing it, and it would push off water onto our citizens and our neighbors, and that it would put in our most vulnerable population at risk by putting them in a situation where they would be, putting them in a building where they would be in a flood zone, and that I wasn't comfortable putting our community at risk like that, and that I was sad that that we've been working towards getting into the CRS program, and with the that would lower the village's insurance costs potentially, and insurance costs for every single property owner in the village, and that I wanted to continue trying for that, and that this really stopped that process, or was getting that it was getting in the way of that process, and I just wanted those thoughts included that I stated during the meeting.
Send that to us. You just said.
Yeah, have you given any of that to Kim or Rodney yet? No, not vaguely, but I mean,
you can review what I said now, or review what I said at the meeting, or I guess I can send up my words again.
Recommendation? Yeah. Generally, the clerk doesn't put all of our comments and thoughts and our discussion in, but you can request what you're doing now, that your stuff be put in the record. So best would be for you to write it down so that exactly what you mean, because it's hard to paraphrase or whatever you're saying. So write down exactly what you said and meant, give it to them. And I'll be happy to, or I'm sure we'll be happy to approve the minutes based on that. Would that work for you?
Yes, thank you.
Shall we hold off on approving the minutes till next meeting?
Send it down.
Send it down, they'll put it in, we'll approve them next time.
That was 5/17.
Okay?
6/1 was the budget workshop.
I looked over the budget workshop meeting minutes, and I would motion to approve as presented.
I'll second it.
Any discussion on those? No discussion? Ron,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Rusty,
I didn't do discussion, but I'm staying.
Fran,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and yes. Okay, so we'll hold out on the 517 till they get them all straightened around.
Brandon, I had to stop myself from trying to discuss the motion in the middle of the vote. I told you not to do that, and I was starting to do that. I know, can't do that, Russ.
Our next item is payment of bills. There we go. Do we have any questions about it?
Is there a newer one? I got mine on the 28th of May. Is that the same one, pretty much?
Yes.
You've looked at them as usual, and you've looked at them, and you're good with them, Mr. Mayor? Move to pay.
We have a second to that?
I'll second that.
Any discussion about the bills? Sorry. Ron,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Rusty,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
and
Which chairs and I decided to sit in 2 hours.
Mhm.
all right, we're almost to the end. That last thing, trustee, not the last thing. Trustee reports. Ron,
I met with Tracy a couple times at the sewer plant talking about the BCA stuff. But man, I've got nothing.
yeah, I was supposed to be there one time.
Yeah, he left me hanging.
I know. Charles,
And I just had the issue about 150 Dean Street that I had discussed with Jeff. And that's about it. That's all I have.
Rusty,
No report.
Fran,
No report.
Laura,
I did hear back from the group that was working for the CRS that watched and observed the meeting, and they were disappointed that was presented with information and that other groups offered help, that the members of our board actively voted against it, and they were disappointed. And also, I did have a question. We received a follow-up letter from FEMA about our CAV violations for the village because we're out of compliance with the National Floodplain Insurance. And I was wondering if we're going to respond to that and what's going on.
do you have a question? That is gone.
That was the violations that Julie had cleaned up, most of them except for 1 or 2. Is that what we're talking about?
They gave us.
Yeah, our citizen group was cleaning up with the violations that the village has had longstanding for years that have not responded to, just to get us in basic compliance.
But I say that, but Julie had cleaned up most of those for us. We just still had 1 or 2 outstanding. Was that the case?
Yep, there are 2 outstanding ones, and you did receive it in an email, and I'm just wondering if you're concerned about this.
We need to take care of those. I don't know.
That was looking into, I mean, obviously, they gave them a set time.
I think flooding is a big concern in this village. I'd like you guys to take it serious, too.
Really should stop saying that. We don't take things serious. I find it rather insulting that you continually tell us we don't take things seriously.
So who do we have to do this? Julie was doing it. I assume she's not, but,
Nobody.
so we don't have anybody to do it. So we need to find, what's that?
Paid public servants.
I didn't hear.
This is the village's job, and our public workers to just to, do, the paperwork. It's paperwork. The village is not doing its paperwork.
Aren't you part of the village? Can you help us with this paperwork rather than just throw allegations at us, please?
I am. I'm asking you, are you going to respond to this? I was on that committee. There's emails. You guys, you should see all the details. I think you need to ask Jeff Souls to respond to FEMA. Like, why are they going to look at the violations and respond? Get the paperwork done.
I'm assuming this is the Whiteman violation and.
Standing for years.
Whitesman's and there's a shed.
Right, on
Whatever
George or something, I don't remember exactly what street. And as Kevin Lar said, it should be basic paperwork, correct? So I don't see the issue. I mean,
I guess it's priorities. Asking the village to, come into compliance and do its paperwork.
So that is correct, and the village needs to do that, so.
Yeah,
We
but
need-
it's the responsibility of DPW, isn't that code enforcement?
which
We got no
exists.
enforcement, yeah.
Well, code enforcement is part of DPW. So it is the responsibility of DPW to take care of it.
That paperwork, yeah.
So I'll get with Jeff and make sure he's on top of that,
Thank you.
amongst all the other stuff that he has to do.
I hate to always be laying everything on you. You manage the departments and all this stuff. It's kind of something you're gonna have to
Yeah, I'll follow up with Jeff.
get on.
They gave him a date, which they know they hadn't given us a date. So they said you will do it within 30 days or whatever.
So we need to do that. So Laura, were you hearing the mayor now? He says he will follow up on that. And the place he's gonna attempt to is with Jeff Stoles. So hopefully we're going to do something about that.
Good, we should. Thank you.
Okay.
Is there anything else?
That's
Laura?
all I have for my trustee report. Thank you.
Let's see, communications, don't have anything besides, we got a communication from the host team inviting us to the convention in July.
My money back.
You already paid?
Oh,
That's about it. Mayor's report. I do a written report. We had a budget meeting. All the department heads about that. Oh, I met with the county IT, mainly about the new building. So when we go to the new building, we're gonna try and look into sharing IT services through the county. So municipal, so far, there's 3 municipalities already doing this. They started last year. We're hopefully gonna come on this year, and there's a couple more. But they can get us a grant through the consolidated government, state grants, to hopefully cover capital that we may need to buy to be able to do this. I'll get into the program. So it's things like replacing our phone systems, replacing some computers, servers, whatever we get.
Well, that'll be a part of the building, right?
Well, the thing is, it's not part of the new building.
Yeah, I know, we gotta get, we're gonna get the grant money to put it into the building.
Right. But it'll be for all of our buildings. We'll replace the phone system at all, every place. So that'll be a good thing.
Well,
Because all that
that's
stuff is
what I'm
now,
saying.
all that stuff is now part of the building. So what the poster grant covers is the actual physical building. Anything else inside the building, if we want tables, if we want phones, if we want computers, servers.
oh yeah, we had to pay for all that.
So this will help with some of that.
We need this before they start walling up the place and they run wires and.
Yeah, so that's why we're meeting with them now. So they've already seen, county IT has already seen some of the, that's a big foot, a long time ago with Delta, as far as the wiring, that kind of stuff. So yeah, those conversations are gearing up because building is, another little updates, the building, the steel for the building should be here next week, so it's looking like a building. On the streets. Start moving floors. Start looking more like a building than just a bunch of concrete pillars. That's my report. So we're working with county IT, and they will, Doug will give his pitch next meeting, but if we like it all, they will provide us a service just like Pyramid provides us now. For now, Pyramid is our IT consultant. We need a computer or whatever set up, we call Pyramid, they come do it for us. In this instance, we'll call the county and do it for us. Give us a computer or whatever it is. Not give us, but we'll pay for it, but
Yeah. Procure.
yes. And we'll hopefully, we can get better rates, basically. On things like internet, phone systems and computers, that's what we going off county bids. You know, just going out to Amazon and buying a computer. Oh my God, NICOM's coming up. Thanks for you guys who are going. I can't go. This weekend.
Hopefully, we're gonna have information about stimulus money and things that can be used for and how to get it, blah, blah. We're gonna have information about marijuana law. We're gonna have information about a bunch of things that, other things that we've been interested in. So we'll see.
The town proposed a work session between us and them. June 15th.
When?
June 15th at 5:30.
What day is that?
But town of Owego,
Tuesday.
Oh, that's.
That's their board meeting right here. So they proposed a work session on the topic of marijuana,
June 15th, what time?
5:30.
So we're gonna need to respond whether we want to do such a thing. Town of Owego, June 15th, 5:30.
Let me know who can go.
But these are now samples.
I don't think you're not seeing.
Work session.
Over there, at their,
New building?
no, I think they're still the old building. Castellucci called me last week.
So,
You send out an email.
are we going to do that with them?
Yeah. Because I heard you talking about it, see what they're thinking.
Good. I absolutely will be going to that.
All right, I'm gonna wash my tongue out, sure.
Mayor, just a friendly reminder, if enough of the village board will be attending that work session at the town, then you'll need to notice that as a special meeting of the village board as well.
Did you, Mike, did you say you could not go?
What's that?
Were you saying you could not go? I couldn't hear you.
No, yeah.
Okay, well, are we gonna have,
Yeah, we probably will have more than 3 of us. So we'll probably have to notice that. And it's gonna be over at the town hall. And my next question, do we want to go back to normal meetings, starting next meeting?
and have them where?
Yeah, we'll have them back over our usual place.
Get parking in there and all that happy? Well,
Yeah, how would we get around it?
Well, parking situation's not that good. There is places to park, but
Using this building.
You can park up by the garage. I mean,
Yeah.
there's parking.
we have to walk.
A couple of you riding your bikes over.
Yeah, we did.
Right, like where the workers park, alongside the garage, that's all open at the.
And just walk around the building.
Right.
Go back to name.
That's it.
Once again, contingent that the governor and everybody else continues along with that.
Right.
Those
Yeah,
are standards.
with everything opening back up, CDC.
So the same as we did, we just need
You
that.
tell Mike tomorrow.
What's it?
Well,
You tell Mike.
but we won't have.
I can't hear you, Rodney.
You tell Mike.
Oh,
Mike Devarney, you can come. He needs to
if
come.
he's got a, yeah, he's incapacitated.
Okay.
But, so we won't, so a change, we won't have the go to meeting option. We'll just be
We won't
back
have any
on.
virtual.
Right.
Did you hear that, Laura?
And Nate.
And Nate?
I heard that. I think the CDC things were for like vaccinated people could be unmasked and like gathering and stuff like that, but we don't have any policies about who's reported about like gathering in a room, right? Or we're gonna set some policies on the door or something that say unvaccinated people should wear masks, or are we gonna do something like that?
That's what I do in my store. I mean, I would recommend that guideline.
Or like a public, for when we conduct public meetings or in our public buildings? Do we have a policy for
We haven't made
public?
policy.
No, it's just the honor system, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So this meeting will be open to the public.
Right.
Is that what you want to do, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna use the honor system?
What, Laura?
We're just using the honor system, you say?
That's what Mike said.
Okay.
You put a sign in. For six communities, have to be vaccinated, no mask, you not wear a mask.
Scarlet letter.
And you know what that's called? Chip, you know what that's called?
That's called the honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get it set.
So we just we just like question each other about whether we're, or, wait,
That's,
Well, we have that legal right. I
well,
can do it in my store.
that'll start fights. You don't want to start fights.
I don't care who's vaccinated, who's not.
If you don't feel comfortable, just wear a mask regardless. If you don't trust people,
Mike, are we allowed to still have virtual meetings?
We are, well, did they have any of that yet?
Yeah, the remote authorization was extended through July 5th now.
So at least for one more meeting.
So do you want, shall we meet back over there and still allow the public to be on virtually?
So the only thing meeting over there is we don't have any of this stuff.
We don't have the big screen.
Yeah.
Okay, I
What's the
don't,
problem with meeting here?
Nothing.
I don't know.
We can do this for one more meeting and see if they extend it or not. Right, Nate? I mean, eventually they're gonna stop extending that.
I mean, we could make up a different setup and have the public.
Yeah, I mean, I half expect the state to just allow by statute eventually remote meetings like this as an option for people. But currently, I don't have any expectation that they'll stop extending it while the case counts are still high. I think I saw, or not even high, but the vaccination rates rather. So I think I saw an article today that Cuomo was saying they would likely relax some of these things, in one sense relax, but in another sense get a little more stringent and say no more remote meetings. But anyway, 70% vaccination threshold seems to be the trigger that they're going off of. I don't know what Owego County's vaccination threshold is right now. It's probably not 70% though.
it's the
It's like 50, but he was talking about the state, and he also in that same press conference said the state's at 69%, even though the numbers they put out said the state's at 50.
Yeah, so I don't know if the state is going to say 70% whole statewide is good, or if they're going to look at it a county by county basis.
Yeah, I don't know.
So much.
Details.
I have a recommendation.
All right.
It's convenient for Nate to not have to come down here. It's probably convenient for Jeff and some others to not have to come down here. Laura's not terribly comfortable with a room full of who knows what's. So why don't we have a virtual meeting here again next time?
Yeah. Couple weeks from now.
Let's do that. Yeah.
As long as the fire board-
How's that sound, Laura? Another virtual here?
yeah, sounds good, thank you.
Yep.
As long as the fire department doesn't care, tell them we're very thankful for letting us borrow their.
They messed up. They gave us keys. And by the way, it's not they. It's us. Charles and I are part of that fire department. So it's not them and us, it's us and us.
You're right, we messed up.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, we just don't have the tech at our place. Yeah, a new building. Hopefully we will.
Anybody still on?
Public comment, but there's no public left.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you, everybody.
Night.
Thanks, Nate. Thanks, Laura.
Good, everybody.